a message for my people.
Nick Dab, baby. We the new label.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, son.
Now this the black sheep, sticking it to him. I need a crib like I'm Gatsby.
I need it.
In hand, just understand my
Pockets that deep.
with nothing to prove. I ain't got nothing to do. When they can't compete and I got nothing to lose. You see, they told me I'm the one that's gonna
That was hold on. From the top.
Yes, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to Veterans Minimum, a part of the You're Welcome Network, the number one sports betting vibe on the internet. As a matter of fact, I do have on new merch, as you can see right here, available now at the merch store.
Look at that. You got the
Cheap plug. I got the white T-shirt version. You had the black one on last week. Yes, they are available. We've actually sold a very good amount. It smashed the over.
Well, we love to hear that. I think the back of the shirt is what the true prize is. Okay, I mean that's show exclusive. Hot picks. Trust me, Ursulita. In this economy, you can't be. I mean, if you see that shirt in public, you're standing behind that guy. You're like, well, what's that about?
It's a conversation starter.
It's a piece of merch that is exclusively ours. It's not just a logo on a shirt. Like, if you know, you know. It's an insider exclusive, and there's going to be a lot more designs, too, to be coming up here soon. Perfect holiday gift. Get on it now.
Christmas colors as well.
Get on it now.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why not?
Do it.
Why not? Buy your favorite degenerates some merch. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of merch, speaking of degenerates, remember Patreon. Patreon.com/Veterans Minimum. $1 American dollar. We are up 28 units on Anytime Touchdown this year. It's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. And boy, do we have a lot of futures from the beginning of the summer to now that are super duper live, that we're all on Patreon. And then remember, the show is free. All the picks are on the show, except for Anytime Touchdown. But your parlay, my parlay, I straight bet all of them. I talk about this all the time. Anytime touchdown, any submission prop, any kind of prop, if it's under minus 150 or better, meaning like, a plus number, I'm going to straight bet it. I'm not laying minus 265 on a Christian McCaffrey anytime.
No.
I'll parlay it together.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Just because the return is not as sweet. So patreon.com/Veterans Minimum. George, how you doing, man?
Man, I came in here hot today, Nick. Very rarely do I come in here. I'm like firing off about like personal life, but things are flowing. It's the holiday season. I think everybody's tension in the world right now is like on an all-time high. I haven't done a lick of Christmas shopping, and I got about less than a week, and so not looking forward to doing that. And I think everybody else isn't looking forward to doing that. And right now, unless you're an NFL player and you could just be like, figure this out, honey, or you get an assistant to figure out the Christmas gifts for everybody. You're stressing right now. And so I'm taking that into account this week with my sports betting picks.
Yeah.
A lot of stressors going on in the world.
You know what Old Reliable is?
What is it?
Let's put a couple dollars in an envelope.
It is a good one. I like it. I got a 3D printer, and in my head I was like, oh, 3D printer, this is going to be easy. Well, I thought this 4 months ago. That 3D printer has maybe printed 3 successful items for me.
Yeah.
Failed about 57 times.
Yeah.
So that was going to be, I was like, everybody's going to get a 3D print. That didn't happen. Fail.
I'm 34 years old.
Yep.
Throw like 300 in an envelope. We could fucking try to invest it in the sports betting market on the weekend. We're good. Are you going to drop $3K on a brand new laptop that I really need? That's 1 terabyte storage. Probably not, Mom and Dad. I understand. I get it. Put a couple dollars. Give me a gift card. I'm real
actually
simple.
kind of like that.
I think it's literally that's the only gift I get. I did do a cool gift a couple of years ago. I went to FanDuel Sportsbook in New Jersey. I put $500 in the machine, and then I printed the voucher, put it in an envelope, gave it to my dad. I was like, yo, free roll. He's like, wow, this is all for me? I was like, yeah. He goes, this is a very good gift. I was like, fuck yeah, it is.
That is a good gift.
Yeah. So I was
like that.
I was like, you could go there, cash it, want to bet it, whatever you want to do. he bet it. It didn't work out, but hey, it was a thought that counts. You know what I'm saying? Maybe if he fucking was $1 Patreon member,
would it be
good.
bad if I did it with like my NBA futures right now? I got the Pistons Rockets finals. Those parlayed. I'm just going to give that to people. And then we could all sweat it together. Is that a selfish gift that I'm giving to them, or we all just cheer for opportunity?
Well, you know how I feel about people being on the same side of a bet, right?
Correct.
So I think that's a cool gift too. Kind of tell them like, yo, here. Didn't I give you the Saquon ticket?
Yeah.
Wasn't that a Christmas gift? Or maybe a little earlier than that.
Yeah. It was like a early, like, hey, this is cashing.
Yeah.
That was like week 9. You were like, here you go.
I was like, yo, you want this? You're like, fuck yeah, dude.
Of course.
30-1.
Of course.
So yeah, that's kind of, for as you get older, it's like, I don't know. I just feel like that's the best gift. Some money, a gift card, like one of those gift cards that are not to one place.
Yeah.
Like don't give me a Starbucks gift card.
Tell me why, like, there's always that one place on those gift cards where you're like, ain't nobody fucking going to this, or it like makes no sense in the grouping. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, like Chili's.
Like Chili's will be there with like Bonefish Grill and Fleming's, and you're like, they don't belong. Okay, this is a high-end establishment. I can almost practically buy a Chili's with an expensive gift card. But yeah, it's interesting the way that they group those together.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Also today, I saw our boy declared for the draft, bro.
Yes.
Oh yeah, you put out a nice emotional post. Well, I took it as emotional. I thought that was adorable. Pause.
Yeah.
But I'm
had
happy
to.
for your family, bro. I think that's really sick. I've told you that, your family, every time I see them all, they're super down to earth, super chill. They're exactly like George, like same personalities. Everybody's awesome. And I've never had a friend be draft eligible in any sport, bro.
Same.
You know what I mean? So and this is your brother. So I'm happy for your family.
I guess there's a couple guys that
tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I got off the phone with him today. It's interesting. The relationship I have with my brother is like very unique in the sense that, bro, we go like days without talking to each other. You know what I mean? Like Cameron and her brother are always texting on the couch and shit. And I'm like, I don't need to know everything. You know what I mean? And I know he's doing good. So, but every couple of days or so, we'll hop on the phone, and he was telling me today about the facilities and the academy that he's going through right now. So he's like here for a full month and a half before the combine and the pro day and everything. But this facility, bro, it costs roughly $45,000 that in this circumstance the agent fronts, and it's all because at this facility you get all your meals, you get training twice a day, film breakdowns, you get top of the line treatment, and you get a lot of draft prep. So like the interviews, they come in, they tell you, like one of the things was what's your best game, and then what's your worst game. And your worst game should never be your actual worst game. Your worst game should be your second best game. And like little like mental tricks like that, because that in their evaluation process, they're going to go back and look at those different things. So like that's the next part of the process. But what I told him today, bro, because it's cool now that he's alone in the world. He's in the real world now. You're not associated with any team. You have to decide how long you want to go on this journey, because it's not in the kindest way possible, I want him to go to one team and it stays the same for everything. Look at most NFL players' careers. You go to a location, get cut from a location, you go to another location, you have to build back up. You're doing this, you're doing that. Like, that's a very real possibility. How long do you envision yourself going for it? And I said, the day you decide you don't want to do that anymore, you're going to have to work with people that come up with the weakest fucking excuses. And that's the real world aside from sports. You know what I mean? You're going to have to listen to people bitching at you and not doing the bare minimum after you know how hard you need to work to be successful. So I just told him that, and he was like, he has a good goal in mind, and I think we're going to leave that between us as to what that goal is, but I'm excited for him because he's accepted that, you know, and I think that's a big portion of stepping up into the next level is understanding that even when you're on a team, you're a free agent. You have to be in that mentality of anything can change at any moment, because that's the business, bro. Like, you have to learn from all these other greats that have gone through it and try to avoid those downfalls as much as possible. And that's I mean, we haven't talked like that, and I feel ever.
Yeah.
It was like the first like real
adult conversation
yeah,
you
bro.
had with your little brother.
Yeah.
No, that's beautiful, man. And you know, like I've always felt that you know, it sounds crazy, but I've had the opportunity to speak at a school. Right? Shout out to Professor Morse speaking at UNLV.
Go Rebs.
I always tell people this. If you're willing to chase something with the idea that shit might not work out for you, it might not be what you expected, the journey might not end the way you wanted to. If you're willing to chase that and come to grips with the idea that this shit might not work out, you'll enjoy it more. Because every little moment that happens, you're like, damn, that was dope. Or this shit was cool. And then to your point, what you just said, I legit live my life with this one ideology, bro. It gotta be fun. It had like, this shit is really fucking fun. I posted something today on my Instagram, like, you know, this one guy on a podcast was like, what an honor to be stressed for the work that you finally achieved and the goals that you finally achieved. And I always think about Alexander Volkanovski said it's an honor and a privilege to do what you love and get paid for it. Mm-hmm. Your brother's playing football, is going to get paid for it. Has been getting paid for it because of NIL, which is a fantastic thing also.
Yep.
So to me, bro, I legit live my life with like, it got to be. Rule number one, it got to be fun. Mm-hmm. The moment it's not fun for me, I won't be doing this. Yeah. I have this goal in my mind of the dollar amount, 20 million. I put this out on almost every other post is 20 million. On my whiteboard is 20 million. Everything else gets erased from that. And I don't want to do this forever. So if I hit those goals, those numbers, and I might not get to it, but the pursuit is fun.
Correct. And that is the most important thing anybody could ever learn, athlete or non-athlete. Life in school, they teach you a couple of things. One thing that I think is very, very fundamental and elementary that they teach you so early on that we don't do is set goals. Like, you have to have goals. If you don't, you will how do you judge if you did good or bad? You're just fucking floating in nothingness. That's okay. But it's like that, if you take anything from the very little that we remembered from school, you definitely remember setting goals. Step one.
Yeah.
No matter what field of life you're in.
I like this conversation, man. This was dope, and I can't wait. I'm excited to go on this journey with you guys too.
Yeah, dude.
You know I'm gonna be. You know, some people were like, you would pick your boy's draft party over like a friend's wedding and shit, and I was like, fuck yeah, I would.
Dare I say, birth of my firstborn child?
Wow.
No, I'm just fucking with you. That would be crazy. That's crazy. That right there is crazier than the wedding.
Yeah. That's pretty crazy.
Unless it's like a baller wedding, and like you know it.
You know, the conversation always comes up whenever there's like an NBA Finals or like a significant game, and like a player has to miss, or like there was. I don't remember the player, but recently, a couple of Super Bowls ago, there was a possibility that a star player on a team, his wife was in labor, and maybe they were gonna deliver on the Sunday. And it's like, yo, what do you do? What do you do? And I feel like there's no right or wrong answer.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm a GM or if I'm a coach, bro, true story, and you're my franchise left tackle, there's just me. There's just Nick Dais talking. It's week 3 and you're like, yo, my wife is in labor. I'm going to have a kid. All right, bro, I don't need you. It's fine. Take care of your family. If it's the Super Bowl, I'm like, yo, George.
How, like, your kid's going to remember this? Or
Is he? Because I don't. My dad wasn't there when I was
your
born.
kid's going to remember you performing well. He's not going to remember you sitting in a room doing nothing.
Yeah.
It is kind of honorable that, you know, you give your son that day because, like, what happens? You go out there, you have, like, a career day, right? The best game the NBA's ever seen, and now your kid's birthday is forever known as, like, your greatest day ever. It's kind of selfish.
Wow, you think so?
If that happened. You know what I mean?
Well, you know, it's and I'm very aware that we sound very ignorant right now.
Oh yeah,
So,
this is straight jokes.
Yeah, this
Come
is
on
straight jokes. We totally understand.
Hashtag
As
comedy.
two guys that don't have kids, which I got called out on my social media too, because I made my personal goals. Number one was don't get anyone pregnant, and someone was like, "Yo, bro, you're pushing 40. I'm 34. I didn't get a haircut for a couple of weeks. Now I look fucking great and handsome, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, I don't want to." He's like, "Yo, bro, go start a family." I'm like, first of all, this is the problem with a lot of people. People just want to start a family with no family ambitions. Like I'm going home this week, right? I'm gonna see my grandma. She's gonna tell me the same thing. Is there a woman? Are you gonna have kids? I'm like, Grandma, kids. We could pop like 3-4 kids over the next year, no problem. Who I'm gonna have the kid with is the problem. I'm not just having
Quality.
Bro, I want a woman. I want a wife that's going to be a mother to my kid. I'm not doing this baby mama drama shit. I got a couple friends that got baby moms. Whew. I do a really good job of seeing shit and being like,
Don't want that.
definitely don't want that. Let me learn from your
Seems so
mistakes.
stressful.
I do a phenomenal job. High level of being like, yeah, that looks like a headache. I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
So,
It's good analysis.
explosive start to the episode.
It is.
Yeah. All right, let's get into what happened here in Las Vegas. The New York Knicks won the NBA Cup. Real brief. I want to say congratulations to the New York Knicks. Could have got them as high as 30-1 to win the NBA Cup.
We missed out. That one was. It should have been obvious to
A
us.
homer pick, too.
It should have been so obvious. Oh, what team's gonna? I always think about like LeBron winning it his first year and how that one was like, oh, super obvious. Of course he's gonna try hard in this circumstance.
The coolest thing was Kolek, the backup guard,
Yep.
the white dude on the Knicks. He made $500,000, so every player made $500,000, and his whole contract is like $2.3 million. So he got like a 25% raise off this thing. So that's cool, you know. And even Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson were like, "We're gonna use this money to take care of the staff as like a bonus," which I thought was really, really dope. You know, like you're making $50 million a year. Like $500,000 is a lot of money to anyone, but for them to be like, yo, we're gonna, you know, donate it to the people in house. I thought that was really dope. But I say all this by saying, me personally, don't give a fuck about it. Like people being like, yo, first championship in 50 plus years. Come on, bro. This is kind of, you know what it smells like? Participation trophy type shit. You know, the last 3 teams to win it. Well, the last 2 teams, the Bucks out in the first round, Lakers out in the first round. It's a bad omen. I don't like it. Was it cool? All right. Maybe it was cool to like envision like what it would look like. I ain't excited. And I like that the Knicks are not going to hang a banner for it, which thank God they're not. I think that would have been
Have the
corny.
other teams hung a banner for it?
I don't know.
Maybe the Bucks. The Lakers, it would. There's no room, you know. But for the Bucks, that would make sense. I can't wait for the answer on this one. I watched that game and I had a 2-leg parlay with Spurs and Wemby to get a double-double. Even with the minutes restriction, I was feeling like he was going to ball out, which he did. My question to you, though, is this Spurs team capable of making a run if he doesn't have a minutes restriction and he's fully healthy? Answer the question first.
Real quick, just real quick.
Yeah.
Lakers and Bucks hung banners.
Weak as fuck.
Yeah.
That's so weak.
Listen, if you're the Hornets or the Pelicans, hang a banner. You don't have any banners up there. You're the Lakers. You got 17 championships. The Bucks just won one. Yeah, we're not doing it. Okay, how far can the Spurs go? I've told you my 5-5-5-5, like how I
Yep.
look at NBA teams, because night to night, I'm following the Knicks, but it's really frustrating. We talk about this all the time. Regular season, I want to watch Timberwolves, Grizzlies, and then you're like, Edwards and Ja are not playing. You're like, fuck, man. You know, a couple nights ago, the Nuggets and the Rockets played, and it had like playoff intensity. You get like 2 of those a month where it's like, oh, yo, this will be dope, right? So to me, I always try to envision, I call it the quadruple 5, right? It's game 5, you're down 5, 5 minutes to go. Who's the 5 that's out there? Bro, the Spurs 5, hell, the Knicks starting 5. You think of the Thunder, you think like all these high-level teams, the Knicks 5 might be a top 3-5.
Agreed.
In the league. Also the continuity and how they've played together the last like year and a half. I love it. In regards to the Spurs, it just comes down to Wemby's health. It just comes down to Wemby's health. Everyone that I know in Vegas that went and watched the game, they're like, bro, he's like, you know how we always talk about like superstars and shit or like anomalies or generational talents? Like, yo, you got to see this dude in person.
Yeah.
Last year I got to see Giannis. I went with Cameron to the Bucks and Hawks game and I sat courtside. I got to see Giannis. I was like, yo, this is fucking crazy. Can't imagine Wemby, right? So how far they could go, it's all determined on the health of Wemby. Because, like, the Thunder, when they played the Thunder only had 3 shots in the paint. They averaged, like, 27. But with Wemby there, just the presence, like, he's already 7'5". So when he puts his hands up, bro, that's like fucking, 18 feet?
Bro, it's nuts.
It's nuts. So to answer your question, that's how far I think they can go. It all depends on him. And I know it's also, like, unfair, like, you could say that about Jokic and the Nuggets. You could say that about the Knicks with Brunson. You could say that about the Pistons. You could say that about every team. But him particular, like, there's always a team, bro, that gets there too soon. Where, like, you don't expect it. Mavs a couple years ago. You know, the Timberwolves last couple years get into the conference finals. There's always a team where, like, shit, how'd they end up there? And then you look back and you're like, damn, they never went back there again.
Pacers could be, oh, they're having a season from hell, you know, like they've been injured and, you know, it's different. But yes, to your point. So you could say that about a lot of teams, but the way he impacts, I don't think any player impacts like he does. Agreed.
So that's my analysis there.
Definitely. No, I it's a fun storyline to progress. You can clearly see that the fact that they kept that minutes restriction for the cup highlights how unimportant this game is, and this would be a wild finals matchup. I wonder what I'll look at it while we transition here at what the odds would be, but I wouldn't mind seeing it. That was a very fun game last night.
No, it was definitely fun, bro, and also it was cool to kind of see what the intensity would look like if these teams did play each other. By the way, Spurs Knicks to be the NBA Finals, 60-1.
I like that number.
Yeah. I kind of think you're donating, though.
Yeah.
Like, I know they beat the Thunder, but to beat them 4 times in a 7-game series, I don't know. Dude, the Thunder are minus 200 to win the West. Like, I have a bunch of parlays tied to the Thunder to win the finals. Right now, they're minus 105. Next closest is Denver at plus 750. I think a dope bet to make, truthfully, I would never make this bet with the Knicks winning the finals. So the Knicks to win the finals are 13-1. I think a way you could get some good numbers is like the shit you love to do, the exactas.
Mm-hmm.
So how we talked about Oregon and Ohio State. Ohio State is plus 200 to win the national championship. To beat Oregon, it's plus 900. I have an Oregon future at plus 900 as well. But my thinking is if Oregon gets to the final against Ohio State, they're going to be, what, 6-point underdogs? Ohio State will be like, what, minus 225? I don't want to lay that. I can hedge it by doing the exactas.
Yep.
So maybe you do an exacta of 10-1, Thunder to beat the Knicks. And then you can also bet the Knicks 13-1. So then if the Thunder and the Knicks go, you've cashed out. You're chilling. That's what I have. If Oregon plays Ohio State, I got $900 coming my way regardless of the outcome. maybe I'll root for Ohio State because shout out to Maurice Claret. You know, we're Buckeye Nation over here. But that's kind of a cool way when you have such a significant favorite in the futures market. That's what I would do because you can't make money on the Thunder right now. And no one wants to bet an even proposal. But I think in a 7-game series, you're not beating this team 4 times.
I love it. We do have to go see him play. Can we make it a pact if we get a Wemby game on the West Coast? We try to get out there, Denver, or maybe even Los Angeles.
I'd be down for that. Maybe Phoenix. We could get a cheap ticket.
Yeah. Phoenix would actually be the best, but I mean, we got fingers crossed.
Yeah. Let's figure it out. All right. Want to get into some football?
Let's go.
I'm excited for this segment.
I know this one's gonna be a good one, dude.
It's a play on the words on the back of my shirt. You know, the best pick of every episode is the trust me. George, there's a list of quarterbacks that we're gonna run through, and we're gonna ask if you trust them. And the criteria is these quarterbacks either hold a playoff position right now, or they're favored to be in the playoffs. Some names are going to surprise you that they're on this list, for better or for worse.
Right.
So it's basically in a playoff game, because you know how this got inspired by Mahomes. You know how in the past we've said, I'm going to feel like a real idiot if I'm holding a ticket against Mahomes. Like, I measure someone's greatness now. If I bet against them, how much fear are you putting in my heart?
Yep.
Right? Like, I bet against Josh Allen when they played the Bengals a couple of weeks ago. And, like, the fear in my heart when he was driving. And I know Burrow fucked the game up. I threw in the 2 interceptions. But, like, the fear. That's how I measure how good you are. At least for me. I think it's a fun way to do it. So, basically, in reverse, if you have a ticket on this guy, how confident are you?
Correct.
And we have a list of quarterbacks here. Do you want to kick us off with the first one that you'd want to dive into?
Let's go with Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams on a historic run here. Ben Johnson and the Bears, they're doing something. They're a team that could go on a run here, and it's like, oh, wow, they made it a lot earlier than we thought. And in the NFL, it works a little bit differently because, you know, the window's a lot shorter than in the NBA. But regardless, Caleb Williams has a chance to resurrect the city of Chicago. Really, the city of Chicago hasn't experienced a championship since the Cubs in 2016. So they're itching for it. Blackhawks before that, it's been a long time. And I think Caleb Williams has a very unique career, Nick. And I want to dive into that career, but I want to know first, do you trust Caleb Williams?
Yeah. I've been saying that I still think he's the best quarterback from that class, bro. And I know you got Bo Nix. I know you got Jaden Daniels. I know you got Drake May. Like, I understand that. But I think Caleb Williams last year, the numbers on the surface were identical to Bo Nix and to Jaden Daniels. But those two teams went to the playoffs as his season crashed and burned with the Hail Mary against Jaden Daniels and the Commanders.
Yep.
So I've been a believer of Caleb Williams. You know what we haven't heard shit about? The fingernails. And the crying to his puppy and his mom and shit. Like, no one cares about that if you're winning. People deal with any off-the-field shit that you might think is a distraction if you're winning. He finally gets an offensive-minded coach who's been a coveted offensive coordinator to be a head coach for like 3 seasons now. Everyone's like, he's the next one. He's the next one. Sean McVay, LaFleur, Shanahan type, young offensive genius. And he comes here, he turns it around. They've turned it around. They are currently a coin flip to win the division. My preseason division winner of the AFC North. And listen, they have some first-round talent on offense, but it ain't really like DJ Moore has been a massive disappointment since he got to Chicago. Roma Dunze started off the year on fire. And the last couple of weeks, there hasn't played. He got hurt in pregame last week. And like Luther Burden, he got hurt also. He's doing it with Loveland and Komet. But their identity is running the ball with Monangai and DeAndre Swift. But they're doing right by their young quarterback. And I talk about this shit all the time, George. If I have a young quarterback, I'm investing in the offensive line. I'm getting him an offensive-minded coach. When you asked me about Jaxson Dart a couple weeks ago, and we listed a bunch of potential head coaches, I'm like, yo, I don't like any of them because you gave me 7 straight fucking defensive-minded guys.
Yeah.
Give me a defensive-minded guy when you're Pat Mahomes 8 years into the league or you're Joe Burrow. But early on, bro, to develop him, that's what I would like for a young quarterback. And this is what they did in Chicago. They invested in the offensive line. They got him some weapons. They're protecting him, and they're protecting him with an offensive genius play calling. And I think going into Philly and dominating, going into Green Bay and losing at the buzzer, this team is – a couple weeks ago we were talking about betting against them in the playoffs. I don't know, bro. Matchup dependent. They could be a team that gets to the conference championship game.
Because of Caleb Williams' clutch factor. And we've seen it a lot in like late drives this year where he's able to put the ball in spots where other quarterbacks aren't. He's able to escape the pocket in a way that other quarterbacks can't. Nick, I wanted to, for this list that we go through, just quickly go through what some of his biggest games were and what his worst loss was and is in the entirety of his career. And I think once you hear this, you can start to understand like their championship mentality, their championship caliber and pedigree. He did win a state championship game on a Hail Mary pass. Important fact to know, because you had highlighted that one of the worst losses that he had ever suffered was a Hail Mary in the same state, by the way, that the Hail Mary happened. So it's kind of weird there the way that transpired. But his entire career in college, the first time he ever played a game in college, he was thrown in the middle of the game versus Texas, Red River rivalry. It's the biggest game in the Midwest. They were down 35-17, and then he replaces Spencer Rattler to win 55-48. That caliber of quarterback and that clutch factor is why I do believe in the Bears. Do I believe as much in their defense, like when we have to start really analyzing this team as a whole? That's the part where I wouldn't be afraid to bet against them. But I will feel afraid of Caleb Williams in that situation. I might have to do it, but Caleb Williams, I trust him.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way, bro. And I think even in some losses, he's played well this year. And you know, the Packer game being an example of that. So yeah, I trust Caleb Williams. I think this is where it starts getting interesting.
Yes.
It's not in the order that we put it in. Bryce Young. You trust Bryce Young? Remember, there's a guy that we've flip-flopped 27 times this season on. What do you think?
I put for his biggest game, he had won a state title. His college football playoff record was 3-2, one national title. And that Packers win from this year was awesome. And then when I was thinking about what was Bryce Young's worst loss, and I just remember him being benched for sucking so bad that the franchise had moved on from him. And then he gave that kid a high five before practice the day after he was benched. And that kid who gave him a high five reinvigorated his career. I don't believe it, though. And I don't trust it. The one thing I will give him that he does have over some of the other quarterbacks that we have on the list, or two of the other quarterbacks, is championship experience. Like playing quarterback at Alabama and having the pressure of that SEC fucking fans will write you death threats if you suck. when you have to deal with that, that's enough for me to think that you do have it. I just feel the pieces around him are not necessarily allowing him to live up to that potential. He's looked good this year because who did they get to join him in the backfield? Rico Dowdle, who is going to make a lot of money next year. So that's the way I feel about Bryce Young.
Yeah, I really like the head coach, man, Dave Canales. A couple of weeks ago when we touted the Panthers to win the division at plus 700, now that's also a pick 'em too. Monster games this week in the NFL, bro. Panthers at home, they're playing the Bucks. We'll get to that in just a little bit. But Dave Canales was 20-1. But then, you lose to the Saints twice. Can't have you do that. They beat the Rams, and then they are really a roller coaster team because we spoke about it, and that's the thing. I can't trust Bryce Young, especially on the road. At home, listen, bro. I hope it's not the Rams, but whoever is in that 4-5 matchup, be careful. The 5 seed, be careful, because you're gonna get like a 13-win team. It's gonna be like how the Vikings were last year, right? A 14-win team going on the road.
Yep.
And they got smoked by the Rams. Well, you're going to go into Carolina, and I'm telling you from now, if it's Carolina or Tampa Bay, I'm probably going to take the division winner, right? So it's just they have some great wins. But I think if you figured them out where you're like, yo, everything needs to go perfect for them in order to win. I feel the same way about Detroit, right? Even though Jared Goff isn't on the list here, but even when it does go perfect, they still don't win. Last year was the year for Detroit. I think that window has closed. I think this combination of Lions players, because remember, now they're going to have to pay Jahmyr Gibbs soon. Some defensive guys are going to be up, like Aiden Hutchinson is going to be up for a contract. You can't be just, you're paying $30 million to Jameson Williams or $28 million. You're like, he's emerging last couple of weeks. They're actually utilizing him.
Right.
It's just they kind of remind me a little bit of Detroit, where everything needs to be perfect, and even then I don't trust it. So no, I don't trust Bryce Young.
He's somebody that his career, it's going to be a very impressive career when you look at it in the grand scheme of it, just because winning a national championship with Alabama, Heisman, you get that aura around you. And there's one quarterback on this list, Nick, and I do want to go to this quarterback next, that I struggled to find big games, worst losses, because the moment that he's experiencing this year is his biggest season, and it's Drake May. Drake May, coming from North Carolina, the ACC, I'm not giving you any street cred for being, under scrutiny and all these big time nationally televised games in which you need to perform. You didn't have that shit. You flew under the radar. Sure, he won a state title. There's one quarterback on this list that hasn't won a state title. That'll shock you. I'm going to save that one though. I think his worst loss of his career is last week versus Buffalo, just because of what that game meant in terms of clinching the division, potentially stamping yourself as the number 1 seed in the AFC. Losing that game last week after you had a lead is the worst loss of your career, and it just happened. So do I trust you? Recency bias tells me no, because what else do I have to go off of? Your college career did not provide me with that championship level experience. He's super young, bro. I think the moment could get a little too bright quickly. And so I don't trust Drake May.
Yeah, I think it might be they haven't been tested, right? That's the team. Them and can't say Denver as much because Denver's been tested, and they have the worst loss of the year based on the call, right? The leverage call. is the worst call that any team has suffered. But I think if you're looking at New England, you know, they losing that game, they still might be able to hold off Buffalo because they still have a game on Buffalo, and they'll have the tiebreaker because they end the year with at Jets and home Miami, where Buffalo plays at Cleveland, Philly, and Jets, right? And they'll probably have a better, now this is assumptions, but they'll probably have a better in-division record. So even if they do tie, so like they need to lose 2 of the next 3 and then have Buffalo win out in order to leapfrog them. So I think that this is a team where if they play Buffalo in the playoffs, if they play, let me tell you this, bro, I wouldn't want to play Houston. I think Houston is the team, and I looked at their odds, bro, and I know I said it a couple weeks ago about them being like my honorable mention. They're 13-1 to win the Super Bowl. They're plus 700 to win the AFC. That is a team as a wild card. That defense can fucking go anywhere, and their offense is starting to come around. Some of these young receivers like Higgins, Noel, obviously you got Schultz. Obviously you got Schultz. You got the 2-headed monster in the backfield. And shit, even this other guy that came in when Woody Marks went out, he ran for 100 yards on the Cardinals. And not for nothing, CJ Stroud, he's won a playoff game in every year that he's been in the league. So as bad as it was last year, him and DeMeco Ryans, they get to the divisional round. The path for me, in a perfect scenario, the Texans are the 6th seed, and they go into Denver, beat Denver. Buffalo goes into New England, goes into Pittsburgh, wins that, then goes into New England, wins that. And then before you know it, Buffalo might be hosting an AFC title game with the futures that we have, right? So, like, the Texans are the team where you're like, I would not want to play them.
Facts.
I would not want to play them with that defense. And, I know I kind of took you all over the place, but in regards to Drake May, I think it might be a year too early. Like,
I agree.
He's had an amazing season.
Yep.
He is still in the running for MVP. Stafford is minus 300, and I am scared as fuck about this Thursday Night Football game tomorrow. Yep. Thursday Night Football games are always shit. It's always a mess. Kirk Cousins looked like he revived his career last week on Thursday Night Football, and Kyle Pitts had a legacy game, right? And it's supposed to be windy and rainy. It's a nightmare. So I'm very nervous for that. I'm thinking of an emotional hedge to throw like 200 on the Seahawks at plus 110, as an emotional hedge. But I say all that because Drake May has been playing really, really well this year. He's having an MVP caliber season. But I think next year is going to be the year where, like, yo, watch out for New England.
Yeah. He needs it. He needs, honestly, like, think about the difference in levels of experience in big-time moments. Dare I say the biggest game of Drake May's career is this week. You drop another one to the Ravens, and you start the downward slide towards the end of the year, people are going to start using the F word for you. And it's quick in the NFL. You don't perform in those big spots. Look at talk to Bryce Young.
And you got to remember another thing with Drake May. Bryce Young as well. Of the quarterback, Caleb Williams as well. History does not favor a first-time starter in the playoffs. Against the spread, they're 32%. Right? So if you just blindly take whoever the more experienced playoff quarterback is, you're going to be successful. So that's what you're going to have with Drake May.
Yep.
With Bryce Young, with Caleb Williams. But with Drake May, I'll tell you this much. I trust that he won't lose them the game, but I also don't think he would win them the game. Does that make sense?
100%. 100%. There's a significant difference between the one person that we've said we've trusted so far. Give me Caleb Williams on the last drive as opposed to Drake May. That's the answer. That's the difference. What's the next quarterback you want to go into? Pause.
Good call. Good call.
Yep.
Let's go with Aaron Rodgers.
Love it.
Obviously the most grizzled seasoned vet of all of them. I don't want to overreact to what they've done the last 2 weeks because there is a possibility that like the Ravens don't win another game and they beat Miami. And you're like, okay, remember we got excited about the Cowboys because they beat the Raiders and they beat the Chiefs on Thanksgiving. Well, how is it? You see how it's ending for Kansas City, right? We always talk about what the fuck was that game every year. Well, the Carolina beating Atlanta 30-0 at home. That's not as shocking as it once was.
Right.
When you see that Carolina's in the hunt for the division. I say all that because I'm watching Pittsburgh and I'm like, man, what if Rodgers just locks in for 3 weeks come playoff time? They're gonna host the first game.
Yep.
It's probably gonna be against Buffalo. Buffalo already smoked them in Pittsburgh. I hate when a team that I've bet on goes back into the venue again to play them, especially when they're not division opponents. And I'm like, man, is it possible he just one last
turn it on,
turn the clock back just one last time? Do you think that's possible? Because obviously I trust him. All right, like I trust him even at this age and at this point of his career. I trust him.
Right.
I don't trust their defense, and I think if you take away DK Metcalf, that offense is fucking atrocious.
Oh my God. Yeah. I don't even want to. The offense all year to me has just been atrocious. That was a great word to use for it. They have just recently started watching film together. Remember that revelation?
Yeah, because Rodgers called them out.
He said, guys, I don't know if I used to do this with all my other teams. We would watch film together. Like we should do this. And so I think there was like a little bit of him winning back the locker room and showing people that he does care. Part of me thinks that was a ploy because he was kind of like phoning it in a little bit. Like, dude, I've been in the NFL for what is it, 20 years now? 18, 20 years? I think I know what defense they're in. I think I know that guy's blitzing and what his tendencies are. And so I think it could have been the greatest PR ploy of all time. They call out Rodgers. He steps up in a way. Now they're starting to blend together. It's tough because at points of his career that we've seen, why wouldn't you trust this guy? But given the circumstances, there's plenty of reasons as to why we shouldn't believe. Can I take a rain check on answering if I trust him until after this week? Because if they go into Detroit, and I know Detroit's a fraud to you, but if they're a 7-point dog, which they are, going into a place where a team needs this win to have any playoff chances, I would be like, big time stamp of approval, trust. Can I do a rain check till next week? Or is that bitch made?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
A little bit of both because there's a massive trend that Dan Campbell and Jared Goff are 14-1 against the spread off a straight-up loss. Right? And they're at home. They're 7-point favorites against Pittsburgh. Now, I don't want to overreact like I told you. However, it's a great matchup with the secondary being so bad for Detroit right now.
Right.
But also this Pittsburgh defense is pretty ass too. Mm-hmm. And have you seen this trend of Jahmyr Gibbs? The last 6 weeks, 0 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, 0 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, 0 last week. 3 touchdowns? Maybe he's RB1 on my fantasy team. That would be nice. But it is the kind of thing,
right,
to your point, that needs to be addressed and discussed. I'm looking at it like this. Right now, if the playoffs started right now, Pittsburgh, the 4 seed, they would host the Chargers. Herbert in the playoffs has not been, all of his appearances have been on the road, hasn't been too shabby. I'd probably take Pittsburgh in that spot. And then if everything goes chalk, you got Pittsburgh going into Denver. I don't know.
The old man can make a run, man.
Old man can get hot and make a run. I don't think it's as crazy. But I think this week, and obviously the odds are going to change, but if they could beat Detroit this week, I'd feel – so you know what? I'm going to take a rain check too. As far as like, if
We
they can
need
make a
to.
run.
We need to because we can't sit here and say that we don't trust him given the insane career he's at. Hall of Fame career, first ballot, no question. But we also know that the torn Achilles Rodgers is on a different level of revenge train, and there's still a bit of him that this is why we idolize old players. Why wouldn't you give it a go? Look at Phillip Rivers. Why wouldn't you, want to get after it? And I think us as Americans who look up to heroes, he's a hero. He has to be.
You weren't on the episode when I had Maurice Claret on, but we were talking about Russell Wilson versus Aaron Rodgers because I really think that's his rival during his playing career. Because they played Seattle a bunch of times in the playoffs and they had some wars with them. And I think that's, both of them have one ring and just the amount of times that they played each other head to head. And I remember asking Maurice, it's like, man, isn't perception is not always reality? Because if you look at the media, he's a fucking villain to the media. But all his teammates love him. I wrote on the NFL Post when Rasul Douglas came over to hug him. He's like, I love you, brother. Good to see you. And then the chick that was interviewing him from Monday Night Football, she was like, oh, all these guys, they always praise you. They always speak highly of you. He's like, oh, Rasul is one of my favorite, teammates. It's like, bro, you always get that with Rodgers. But Russell Wilson, Mr. Perfect, Mr. Unlimited, Mr. Squeaky Clean from the media, gives you the PC answers. Not one teammate has his back ever. Legion of Boom, Doug Baldwin, fucking Marshawn Lynch, all these, like no one. So it's just crazy to look at the differences. And all that happened with the pandemic and his stance on the coronavirus and all that shit, and people lost their minds. But I put that up. It got like 10,000 likes, bro, that one comment. Pretty fire.
That's the best feeling.
Yeah. It's like I got one.
Yep. So rain check till next week. I will make a note. We will answer that. You'll have your answer actually the second you watch that game. And if they win, by the way, Aaron Rodgers, out of all the quarterbacks, did not win a state title in high school. He did win a junior college national title. Just a little fun fact.
Have I ever told you my theory on quarterbacks in college?
No.
I want the guy that doesn't go to a Power 5 school. And I know California is a Power 5, but like, I don't want my quarterback from Alabama or Ohio State. How good are they? You got fucking JSN, Marvin Harrison Jr. Look at Bama, you got Julio. That's why like no quarterback from Alabama has ever really been like, holy fuck, dude, Tua just got benched. They can't cut him because it's $99 million that they have a dead cap hit. So like, give me a guy that goes to Boston College. Drew Brees went to Purdue. Texas Tech for Pat Mahomes.
Give me a Drake May coming out of North Carolina.
Yeah, give me like that. That's why I like Daniel Jones when the Giants took him, because I'm like, he made Duke relevant in football. Give me that guy. Don't tell me like this dude at fucking Ohio State or Bama or Oregon is hit or miss with the quarterbacks too. But like, give me guys from Wyoming, Josh Allen.
I'm telling you, there's diamonds in the rough, bro. We sit back here thinking finding a quarterback so easy. They're out there. You just gotta look a little bit, under the surface.
Yeah. What do you think of Bo Nix? Do you trust Bo Nix in a big spot? I'm gonna give you a shocking answer. Can I give you my answer while you think of it?
Yeah.
This year, Bo Nix, because they're minus 350 to be the 1 seed, I trust them. Because they're at home. And I think him at home, he'll be fine at home. You could trust Bo Nix at home.
I like
if
this.
If they were to go on the road to get to the Super Bowl, like it's very likely, it's the favorite from the sports books, that everything got to go through Denver. And if that's the case, him at home, he's very comfortable at home. They've protected home turf. this year, even though, Jaxson Dart went in there with JUCO wide receivers and should have beat you. But, hey, we'll save that for another time. We'll save that for next year when Dart wins MVP. But Bo Nix at home, I trust him.
Bo Nix's biggest game last week versus Green Bay. When you look at the entirety of his career, he won two. He won back-to-back state championships. The biggest thing that he was remembered for coming out of college was how bad he performed at Auburn for stretches of time. And that's why he was benched and eventually transferred to Oregon, in which he lost in the Pac-12 championship game to Michael Penix. And that game kept him from ever having a college football playoff berth. So he hasn't had a bowl games don't give off that level of energy. But this first playoff game, in all reality, is Bo Nix's first, game that has significant meaning since high school. It's a long time to go without a game of extreme magnitude and significance. I like the way that him and Sean Payton have molded and meshed together. We're a year removed from Bo Nix yelling at Sean Payton coming off the sideline, 4K. And we got to see a relationship and a bond that was formed from that moment. And this is what it is. They go with the long ball on 4th and 1 to put you away. They don't, they're a very unorthodox team. And I think that that's what's dangerous. I like Bo Nix and I trust Bo Nix when he's with Sean Payton. I trust him.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way.
Yep.
I feel the same way. And it brings us to the last person on our list. And, bro, let me tell you, I think this week, I know we said this for maybe a couple weeks ago. No, it was last week. Yo, shout out to the NFL because the schedule makers gave us a lot of implications in Week 15 and in Week 16. And it leads us to Trevor Lawrence. Do you trust Trevor Lawrence? This guy has been in the playoffs. This guy, ever since they got Jacoby Myers, seems to have maybe figured out this Liam Cohen offense. Brian Thomas Jr. now is not asked to be the number one wide receiver, and they got Strange at tight end. Parker Washington, your boy Etienne is running wild or catching wild, and their defense is a pretty underrated defense. I know they've beaten up on some shit teams, but that's the key. They've beaten up on some shit teams. Like,
yep.
If you're going to play a shit schedule, you need to be dropping 30 spots like they've been doing the last 5 weeks. Mm-hmm. So how do you feel about Trevor Lawrence?
He's, out of everybody we've listed, he's the ultimate winner. This kid has won 41 consecutive games in high school. Then he goes on to win a national championship his very first year. And he didn't experience his first loss until he met up with Joe Burrow in the college football national championship. And do you blame him in that situation? By the way, if Burrow is in it this year, I don't trust him. Burrow's out of it. Trevor Lawrence has my trust. Because in those big-time spots, and this is all related. In college playoff games, he had a 10-1 TD to INT ratio, but his last playoff appearance in 22, he threw 5 touchdowns, but he also threw 5 interceptions. But that was an offense that relied on him to be the Josh Allen. And this offense, he doesn't have to be that. And so with Liam Cohen's system, you got a winner. This is a winner, bro. This is like a fucking a thoroughbred horse that would be worth the dollar amount that he's worth because there's that history. Full trust. And honestly, after doing like my due diligence on Trevor Lawrence's career, we should be afraid. Because in the playoffs, if they get the ball rolling, man, this is them in Buffalo. That'd be a scary matchup.
Well, I kept looking at the Jaguars to be the 1 seed. It's 12-1. Kept looking, but then I look at the schedule and I'm like, I'd feel better if Mahomes was available. Because this would be a scenario where we'd come into this episode and I'd be like, yo, bet the Jaguars to be the 1 seed right now if you think they could beat Denver, which they travel to Denver this week. Because then they play at Colts, home Titans. The Broncos play home Jaguars, at Kansas City, home to the Chargers, which could be for the 1 seed, could be for the Chargers to get into the playoffs. So the more I thought of it, the more I was like, probably not likely.
Reaching.
But I think this game is going to say a lot about both teams. Let's see how Denver handles a monster win. Let's see Jacksonville in a big spot on the road because your big wins have come at home.
Yep.
Let's see you here because you're going to have to go on the road.
Dare I say, I felt like that line was a little disrespectful. And I know the Jaguars are good. Cannot wait to talk about that game when we get into the betting segment.
Dude, do you have anything more to say about this? Because we could just get into the betting segment right now.
I think that's a perfect segue is this game.
Yeah. So what do you got?
It's my best. It's my best bet of the week. It's my Becky. Broncos -3. I'm riding with the momentum right now. And there's something in Denver going on that, think about this. The Lions are 7-point favorites to a team that is predicted to be the division winner. I feel like this line should have been a little more indicative of that. -5.5, -6. It's a tough place to play, and the offense is starting to get it going. I know this. The Broncos can slow down the run. And when Trevor Lawrence is forced to make the big-time plays, I would rather have the other side in that scenario. So my Becky to start off the week is Broncos -3.
Yeah. Listen, it's, one thing about Jacksonville, they've been able to put up points on the road. You look back to that Bengals game, that's one of the worst losses of the year. When they had Jake Browning, especially when you look at how Jake Browning, all that shit transpired after, that was a bad one. But look, they put 26 points up in San Francisco, right? They put up 30 points against the Raiders. Okay, I get it. They put up 27 points against the Cardinals. They put up 25 points in Tennessee in division game. The reason why I say that, George, they are the only team that's undefeated on the road, their total. So the Jaguars have gone over their team total in all 6 road games. Only team in the league to do that.
Wow.
I really think this is a monster game because both Knicks and Lawrence are having career games. Let's see how both of them respond. Since 1990, teams on an 11-game winning streak struggled to cover the spread, going 14, 36, and 2. And this is a unique matchup because the Broncos have won 11 straight. And the Jaguars are 5-0 straight up and against the spread in their last 5 games. This is an absolute bar fight. Could be a conference championship preview.
Mm-hmm.
Me personally, I'm staying away from this one. I'd probably go dog or pass. But the reason why I'm staying away is because if they weren't playing each other, I'd be taking the other guy, right? Like, I'd be playing whoever's playing Bo Nix. Like, all right, let's see you after a career game. Because if you look at it, since the start of last season, when he throws 3 or more touchdowns, they're 2-5 against the spread in the following game. So it's like, kind of a letdown.
Yeah.
Now we need to go see who they were playing. I understand that context. Was it on the road? All that. But for me, ballsy. I think it's ballsy.
Yeah.
No, why not?
I saw that one. That was the first bet I made on the card. I just liked the way that game ended last week, and that version of Bo Nix can beat teams by a lot of points. That's not the performance that gets you a squeak it out 1-score win. No. I think they're going to re-up on it. I witnessed with my own 2 eyes the Raiders go up and down the field on the fucking Jaguars. Middle of the season, they were injured. Maybe they had the Vegas flu. I don't know. I know that Denver's capable of a lot more than that, and I'm gonna ride with it.
I'm gonna give you my Becky.
Go ahead. Best bet of the week.
The New York Football Giants.
Wow.
The New York Giants are 3-point underdogs at home against the Minnesota Vikings, who are coming off back-to-back monster wins, right? They smoked the Commanders at home, which we were on. Then they win in Dallas. Excuse me. J.J. McCarthy, a 3-point favorite on the road for a team that is 6-11-1 against the spread when they play outdoors in December, failing to cover the spread by 5 points. They're coming off an emotional win, Sunday Night Football. Check this shit out. Ready? This season, teams coming off a road game in Dallas are 0-6 against the spread. And the Giants, what does Minnesota like to do? They like to blitz. Jaxson Dart this year, against the blitz, 8 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. When he's not blitzed, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception. You know what that tells me? He's good either way. He's good either way.
This dude will do anything to talk good about Jaxson Dart.
Hey,
you're hilarious, bro.
hey. Bro, do you know that I saw some report that's like, should the Giants take Fernando Mendoza #1 overall?
Oh my God. Did you want to throw? You reported that account probably.
You know what's crazy?
This account's promoting terrorism.
Do you know what's crazy?
What?
I blocked and reported the account. Kind of bullshit is
Dude.
it? I look at all you
That's
fucking
so
people
funny.
with followings doing redrafts of the 2025 class, and he's not the first pick. I saw another one from CBS. He's not top 10. Are you guys fucking crazy? He's not top 10? Bro, look at Slayton. There's a compilation on TikTok. Not that kind. There's a compilation where this guy's dropping touchdowns like 2 a game, right? Theo Johnson, every other pass, he's wide open, dropping it. He's been dealing with shit. What's his name? Hyatt, the wide receiver. Cut him 3 years ago at the draft day. They should have cut him. You're telling me Jaxson Dart? The Giants are not a bad team, bro. I'm telling you right now, the Giants.
I know. It's just, do you realize? I hope you go back and you watch that moment of the podcast, because the way that you presented his stats was so fucking funny. You were like, this is his stats versus this, and this is his stats like that. But it doesn't matter. He's good. That's the way you ended it. Bro, he's even played a full NFL season.
And you know what?
He's crazy.
He's probably not going to play a full NFL season because he's had 10 times he's been in concussion protocol. Right?
That is so
fucking
funny.
Did you see the Hard Knocks? Dan Campbell was like, yo, when he leaves the pocket, he's a running back. He don't slide. He don't slide. And they ask him about it. And I love the answers he's giving, but also I'm like, your brain's going to be scrambled, bro.
Yeah.
We need you. But I saw all these reports that's like, if the Giants get the #1 pick, they should take Fernando Mendoza. Fuck no. What they should do is hopefully the Raiders, hopefully the Jets, one of these teams that need a quarterback, maybe Atlanta. Well, they don't have their draft pick. Maybe the Rams are like,
dude,
yo,
what if you got Brock Bowers?
Now
we're fantasy booking?
Now we're fantasy
That
booking,
would
brother.
be electric.
Yeah. Give me Brock Bowers and your #1 pick, and you could take one. Yeah. Oh, we'll give you Theo Johnson also. Fucking take that shit back.
Keep
But
the change of
what are
filthy
they,
animal.
come on, listen. If you want to make the case that you're worried about his health, cool. But if we're talking about talent wise, bro, what he's doing, I'm watching every game when he's playing, and he passes all the boxes he passes, and they've lost a bunch of games by 1 score. Next year, the New York Giants are going to be this year's version of the New England Patriots and the Denver Broncos. Mark my words. They're going to play a 4th-place schedule. I'm betting them for MVP. I'm betting the East, the Conference, the Super Bowl. I'm telling you, bro, he is the one. He is the one. Now, is he going to be in concussion protocol every other half? Yeah, that is very concerning. But I think the next coach that comes in, they're going to be like, hey, bro, remember what fucking John Gruden told you? I would love for him to be the head coach. Hey, don't send no emails. That'd be nice. Don't send no fucking emails out. But they need a guy like that could be like, yo, bro, listen, watch Drake May. Watch Drake May his rookie year.
Yeah.
Look at what he did in year 2 because he wasn't fucking sliding every time.
Bro, I wish we had
All
replay.
that being said, Giants +3.
I wish we had replay. I'm going to go back and I'm going to watch that specific part again tomorrow. I think
I got fired up, bro.
No, that might be one of the funniest
I've been waiting for a quarterback that is a now quarterback, right? Like I've had to deal with pocket passers when like the game has them. Like now you can't be a pocket passer anymore. The only true pocket passers are guys that were from the early 2010s that can still get it done. Now you got to be mobile.
Yep.
And he could do that. +3, baby.
+3 is your best bet.
I'm fired up, man.
Now, what's the ugliest bet that you have on your card for this upcoming weekend? An Ursulita bet.
I'm going to stay in division.
Okay.
I'm going to take the Commanders +7 against Philly. Washington, just every year, no matter what their record is, they pull off an upset in the division. I'd even sprinkle +285 money line. I'm not going to overreact to Philly keeping the Raiders to 75 total yards. It was a great bounce back, get right spot here. Now they got to go to Washington, and they're 7-point underdogs at home.
Yeah.
I'd even say that the Commanders could win this game outright.
Jalen Hurts 13, 18, and 1 against the spread in December or later. Bodes well for that bet right there. The Commanders, obviously it's dog shit and it looks nasty, but it's still a team that their defense can turn it on from time to time. Like they're the most sporadic defense that I've ever seen. I like Frankie Louvu. I think that's what it is. Their linebacker core, although old with Bobby Wagner, I'm a fan of.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not going to go that far. However, I do like them at home as an underdog. Dan Quinn in division, 3-1 against the spread as an underdog at home. I also know that Philly drops one of these games every single year. He's 3-6 against the spread the week after being a double-digit favorite. That's what you have. Jalen Hurts is amazing at home. On the road is where you could get him. And in December or later, he's 1-5 against the spread on the road against the NFC East. And last thing I'll say about this, shout out to the Washington Commanders. They decided, you know what, Jaden? Season from hell, bro. Shut you down. He wants to play. No. I wish my team could do that. I wanted them to do that after he got the last concussion against the Bears. I'm good, bro. Just give us the Jameis Winston experience, which we got for 2 games. Right? He made it fun. He made it competitive, and then he threw a pick when it mattered most. Perfect. So shout out to the Commanders for that. What do you got as your Ursulita?
Ursulita for me is the Tennessee Titans.
I fucking love this pick.
The Tennessee Titans, they're playing the Kansas City Chiefs this week.
I'm so proud of you, bro. This isn't a pick that you'd make in the past.
But I feel like this one's just like the obvious one because they're 3-point underdogs at home. This is a team that still cares and is still wanting to perform well because they got a lot of rookies and they need to know what works for the next step. Nick, this Chiefs team, I don't even know how you would show up for work on Monday, if I'm being honest. Would you? You still have to, but mentally so checked out. There is not a single person down to the janitors in that facility that give a fuck about work this week because it's over. They're already planning the vacations. The Titans have had their vacation planned since August because they knew, and they got really good deals. And they're all on rookie deals, so they needed to book in August for these early January vacations. The Chiefs, this is newfound territory for them. Gardner Minshew last week, we didn't talk about this. The delay of game that he took at the end of the game after Mahomes got injured, I think he did it on purpose.
Yeah?
I think he knew if I take this delay of game penalty, pushes us out of field goal range, I don't have to try to live up to, oh my gosh, Gardner Minshew's going to have to carry the kingdom. I think he may have, he saw the clock hit 0. Shucks. All right, now no pressure. That's the one thing I'm worried about because he might come out here. He's good as a favorite. That's why this is an ugly one. Minshew, 9-5 straight up in his career when listed as a betting favorite.
Yeah, listen, I like everything you said, man, and I think it's gonna be the first time that they're playing a game in December that don't mean anything for Kansas City.
Wow.
So yeah, I'd go even crazier. I think that Titans money line is definitely in play as well.
Love it.
You know, I don't think they've been as bad as their record.
They've been competitive.
Yeah.
And like I said, I like their young pieces. I think Cam Ward this year having to survive the turmoil that he's had in the front office and that every week has been a tryout. I like it. I want to go watch his documentary on Tubi. I've been meaning to do that. You've been seeing the ads for that?
I have, yeah.
Have you watched it?
I have not, no.
I got to give it a try. Tubi's free. Got to do it. Tubi Tuesdays.
I'm going to pay homage to you with this next pick, sir.
Okay.
In this economy, I'm going to go with a total.
Wow.
My first total of the year.
Let's go.
I'm going to take over 47.5 in the Bengals-Dolphins game. Talk about two teams that got nothing to play for. Joe Burrow's still going to play. Quinn Ewers is coming in for Tua. You know he's going to want to show out. 47.5? Sign me up.
Bet.
I think fireworks. I think 35-31. That's what I'm thinking. Nice weather in Miami. Give me that. Give me a total, bro. My first total of the year, George.
Now, did you see this? This is a crazy stat, Nick. The Bengals and Dolphins have met a total of 8 times since 2010. The under is 7-1 in those games. You said the over.
I said the over, yeah. Okay, so
Stats. Well, I get you, and it's probably weather related.
no, I was going to say something else. I don't like trends for non-division opponents as much as I do in-division opponents.
Very fair point.
Because Bengals and Dolphins, who were their quarterbacks? Ryan Tannehill and fucking Andy Dalton 12 years ago. Now, if you tell me, hey, Bengals, Ravens, their last 8 times with Burrow and Lamar like I did last week, and it didn't happen because I think one of us had talked about the total
right
in that game, and it was 8-2, or it was like 6-2 was the over. Yeah, that makes sense. It's the same quarterbacks. They play each other twice. Maybe you have a playoff game in there, which you did have a playoff game in there. Yeah, that's more accurate. But when you tell me like the Chargers are 4-0 against the Giants, their last 4, it's like, what, before Phillip Rivers maybe?
Yeah.
So just to,
very true.
Just to teach people about that, like those trends can be very misleading, especially when you have non-division conference opponents too.
Joe Burrow hasn't come out and said that he cares about football ever since that press conference. So I think he still doesn't care. I think the Dolphins steamroll the Bengals in this situation. Do you feel that way?
No, I think they'll put up a fight. But it could happen too. It could happen too. I just think it's two teams got nothing to play for. I think you'll just see fireworks.
Trust me, this week is the Dolphins money line plus 170. I'm just going based off of what Joe is telling us. And this is the theory that I have. Going back to Bussin' with the Boys interviewing Coach O talking about how Joe Burrow was the smartest. He was the smartest person in the room. You look over there, Joe was smart. Joe was the smartest person. There was 12. He was even smarter than me, and I was one of the coaches. You know what I mean? I was like, this was perfect insight. Not only was he the smartest person in the room at 20 years old, he knows that if they go on a little winning streak here to end the year, there's a chance that Taylor keeps his job. And I think the boys have gotten together collectively. I'm talking about Jamar, I'm talking about T, and I'm talking about Joe Burrow. And they were all like,
pack them up.
If they ain't going to do it, let's just lose out here, and he's for sure gone. That's the way that I think that the Bengals are approaching this. Remember, Coach O said Joe Burrow's smartest person in the organization. Just listen to what he's telling you. I'm not having fun right now. I'm not having fun. you should make a lot of money betting against me in the next couple of weeks is the way that I interpreted it. So that's what I'm going to do. Trust me, Dolphins.
Listen, I love Joe Burrow. One of my favorite guys to watch. I can't make 275 and tell you I'm not happy, bro.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. But you see how smart he is?
Yeah.
Because he doesn't give a flying fuck. But he does know. He knows how ungrateful he's being, but at the same time, he's tired of the Zach Taylor experience.
Listen, I've started making money the last couple of years, and I'm super grateful and happy to be able to do that. Way less problems, bro. So when I hear people talk about that shit, it's like, nah, I'd rather have it than not.
Yeah. No,
and I'll be happy. I'll be happy for sure. And you know what else happens with me, bro? We were talking about this with, I want to like buy a watch. We were talking about watches, and Jory and Isaiah one night, we were leaving the studio and we were just talking. Jory had like a dope watch on. My parents bought me a Movado watch for Christmas a couple of years ago. I've worn it twice to Danny and Dominic's wedding. It's like a nice watch. It was like a $2,000 watch. And my mom gets mad at me. She's like, yo, why don't you wear it? It's a really nice watch. Like, as a man, you should have a nice watch for when you go out to places. Like, you should get one. And that's one of the things I'm going to bring back. So I'm definitely going to have it on the episode when I come back from New York. Just because it's also like, yo, my parents worked mad hard for that shit to get it for me. You know what I mean? So, like, don't be a dick because it's not a AP or a Rolex to not have it. But I say all that because, like, now I'm in a position, bro, where, like, I'm doing really well. Sometimes I'll look at things that I once wanted. I'm like, I'm just happy I can afford it. Has that ever happened to you? Where you're like,
of course.
Yo, I want this shit so bad.
Yeah.
But now that I can buy it,
oh, dude,
I'm like, nah, I'm cool.
It's kind of like I do it at a low level where it was back in college. You would see certain types of food that, you know, wasn't the store brand, right? And you're buying store brand because you're in college. Knowing that once you walk into like a grocery store and you're like, anything is on the table, I could go crazy right now if I wanted to. Just the thought of that will creep into my head every time I'm in a Walmart. And that makes me excited. And that's like, you know, it's low level. I'm not, you know, driving by a car dealership. Not at that point yet. But
it's funny because one day one of my boys back home, one of my best friends, FaceTimed me. He's like, yo, where you at? I was like, I'm at Whole Foods. He goes, oh, yeah, you Whole Foods now.
dude, that's what I'm saying. That's
like,
what I'm saying.
yeah.
Just the fact that you went to Whole Foods says it all.
Yeah.
Says it all.
Yeah. It's been good, man. Shout out to everyone that's made this happen. You know what I'm saying? All right, let me give you my trust me. I've teased it. I think it's the biggest bet I'm going to make all football season, bro.
Oh, it's a whale play.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
You ready?
Yo ho.
The Bears.
Oh, my God.
Bears plus 1.5. I love it. I love it. Look, they played them tough a couple weeks ago, came down to the wire. That Packers team does not look the same way. And I think since then, the Bears have been playing better. They just lost Parsons. Who knows what happens with Watson? I think this is the biggest game Chicago has played since the double doink against Philly. Even further than that. Because even then, I didn't think people had the love for this Bears team like they do now. Like, that was the Mitchell Trubisky Bears.
Yeah.
With, like, Matt Nagy, I believe, was the head coach. And then prior to that, it was the NFC title game that Jay Cutler didn't play in because he got hurt. It's the biggest game Chicago. And it's the Packers, right? You could right a lot of wrongs if you're Caleb Williams. Like we said before in the Trust Me segment. This is my Trust Me, man. I think I'm going to put, when I get in New York, I got a couple bonuses to unlock. I think I'm going to put my biggest bet of the year. Chicago plus 1.5.
I like whale plays.
Yeah.
That's nice, dude.
Yeah, listen, you can't have one every week, right?
And
like,
that's a bold one to go whale play on, too. This is it for the division. You really, really are rolling. Well, you said bonus bets.
Yeah, but
I still consider it.
It's still money that I mean. I'm still gonna have to deposit to unlock the bonus bets,
Facts.
right?
Yep.
So like, yeah, it's gonna be a substantial amount for me. You know, I've always said I'm like a $100 to $200 better. This might creep up to $5. I do this in MMA.
I love that for you.
Yo, in MMA, I'm not bullshitting you, bro. There's maybe like since I moved to Vegas, there's been like 7 fights where I'm like, and they all happen to be the underdog, and I'm like, man, this is like, I gotta put like the Patreon money on this one, and I'm like 5-2, but this isn't something that you could do every time. You know?
Correct. Yeah. No, that's why this was important. I let you have your moment there. I wanted to give you a round of applause.
I appreciate it.
It's a whale play.
Yeah.
Now I have a vested interest in this game.
Yeah, it'll be good. It'll be good for the brand, right?
For sure.
So Chicago. Let's see, Caleb.
Trust
All
me.
right. What else you got?
My In This Economy, I'm going to roll it over from last week. Patriots first half money line. They're going to start fast versus this Ravens team. This Ravens team, this game means a lot. I am afraid of Derrick Henry in the long term of this game. I do envision a couple of highlight Sunday Night Football. Oh, my God, he still has it. Possibly goes for 3 touchdowns on Sunday Night Football. I'm already starting to envision this because that's all that the Ravens can do. I just have to take the Patriots in this spot. They're going to care. It's a regular season still. Drake May has experienced what it's like to be embarrassed after having a big lead. So I love this. It's plus money, plus 120 right now. Patriots first half money line In This Economy. And then we have our toxic one, Nick. The game we are going to either bet the dog or pass.
Can I give you mine?
Who are you taking?
Buffalo is 10.5-point favorites on the road in Cleveland. I do think the only person on Cleveland that gives a fuck anymore is Myles Garrett. That's good enough for me. Buffalo has gone on the road this year, and they've laid eggs. Buffalo always lays an egg. At least 1 to 2 times a year, you're like, how the fuck did they lose to this team? I'd even say plus 425 is in play. Them to win outright, Cleveland. I like Cleveland at home as opposed to on the road, even though Tennessee went in there and ran it up and down the field on them. I just think this is a spot. Buffalo coming off a crazy comeback win. I can't play the Bills minus 10.5. No way, no how. So it's either dog or pass. And if I'm playing the dog in this scenario, I would take the money line. And remember, almost verbatim, I said this about the Panthers with the Rams. The similarities are crazy. Now, the biggest difference, George, is Carolina's actually a good team, might be a playoff team. Cleveland's talking about like, Deshaun Watson might be the starter next year. So, and also Buffalo's getting 81% of the tickets.
Right.
Be very, very afraid.
That's a good toxic one. My toxic one is actually an underdog. And it ties into the segment that we had a little earlier in the show. I cannot trust the Steelers as 7-point underdogs on the road in Detroit. This game has just the biggest implications for the Lions that they've experienced in recent history. They lose this game, dare I say that everyone's going to be wondering if Dan Campbell should still be calling the plays. And then if they have to get over that hurdle, then you've permanently lost this franchise and you've ruined something that has the potential of being really good. They don't lose back-to-back games. I don't think that they lose back-to-back games. I think they crush the Steelers. I think the books are telling us with that 7-point spread that they would like to have made this a 10-point spread had only the Lions had a more productive, consistent beginning of the year. If this is the last year's Lions, same situation to play this game, they're 10-point favorites. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that last year's Lions are that crazy far off of the team that they have this year. minus some pieces. You got to stay away from this game. Toxic one, Steelers +7 for me.
I made a mistake and forgot to do my overall record. So we'll have that for you guys on the next episode. I apologize for that. I do know that Trust Me is 10-5. That's the one I've been keeping tabs on. So we do have that. Just to recap my picks: Ursulita, Commanders +7. Becky, Giants +3. In this economy, Bengals over 47.5. Toxic one, Bills -10.5, meaning dog or pass. And the Chicago Bears +1.5. My favorite bet of the year so far. What do you got?
I've got my Ursulita as the Titans +3. My Becky is Broncos -3. In this economy is Patriots first half money line. My Trust Me is the Dolphins money line, and the toxic one is Steelers +7. Do you have an anytime touchdown parlay cooked up?
I do. And you know what? Between you and a couple of fans that have been like, yo, bro, more and more condoms with every anytime touchdown parlay. We need some crazy shit, right? Like week 1, it was 70-1. Now I'm giving out like +800s. They're still not hitting, right? Which is crazy because, you know, the Patreon, the anytime touchdowns up 28 units, haven't hit one single parlay, which goes to show you if you're straight betting, could be very, very profitable. But I got one for you right now, bro. Ready for this? 135-1.
Holy shit.
A quarterback parlay.
Oh, I like it.
Caleb Williams.
I like it.
Jaxson Dart.
Have to put him in there.
But, yo, on a serious note, Jaxson Dart, anything over plus, like, yo, he's Jalen Hurts.
No, I know.
So anything plus, you got to play it every time. Also, Jalen Hurts. And then what a sweat. Sunday Night Football, Lamar Jackson.
Wow.
Dart, Caleb, Lamar, and Hurts. 135-1. Talk about an explosive fucking Christmas if this happens.
That is. That's going to be a
Lock
good
it
one,
in.
dude. Okay. I'm going to go with a 3-legger, but one of them has 2 touchdowns attached to it. This one's 29-1. I don't give a fuck that this is not a long shot odds. I like this one. Sean Tucker, the third down power back for the Bucks. Give me him, give me Darren Waller, and give me Jahmyr Gibbs to score 2 touchdowns. 29-1. Book it.
Jahmyr Gibbs -300 to score 1 touchdown.
Yeah.
You can't play that. You got to play it 2.
You have to play 2, and given the zigzag, he's been zigzagging with 3.
Yeah.
Let's just be safe here. Let's go 2.
Yeah. Can I give you another one that stood out to me?
Go ahead.
Derrick Henry to score a touchdown going up against Mike Vrabel. Not really revenge because they ended well, but, you know, this was a team that.
There's a little bit of vitriol there.
I think Derrick Henry -120 is my favorite anytime touchdown of the week. If I just had to pick one, it would be that one.
Mine's Devon Achane.
Achane?
Yeah. I think he might go for like 3.
He might go off.
I really want to cook up just like an Achane to do unspeakable things to the Bengals defense. I'm going to cook that up.
Damn, bro. I really like that one there. Fuck. He's +350 to score 2 touchdowns. And then who'd you say? Jahmyr Gibbs?
Yeah. Jahmyr Gibbs is +210 to score 2.
All right, hold on. I'm cooking up right now.
All right, he's cooking while he's in the lab. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. This is why you guys love this show.
I got a good one for you.
This reason right here.
75-1. And we're going to end with this. Achane, Gibbs, Derrick Henry, 2 touchdowns each.
That's a good way to end it, Nick.
That's a good fucking
That's a good way to end it.
Peace.
Later.
Element. I'm a gold medalist, bronze like your medal is. So many deer in headlights, but it's bedtime. Hear that supper bell, main course be the venison.
Dab. Most dangerous game. Either kill or be